Does she? You were the first one on three. Winner! One more time! Everybody has to say if you didn't get the test now. Go run the floor. Okay, this next challenge. When you get on the chair, you have to do the chicken dance. Oh my God. But, so you have to get on it though. Okay? If you don't do the chicken dance around, there you go. Clap those wings. Okay, kick it to the wall. All right, we have 4 people left. 3 people left. Who do y'all think's gonna win? 7. If you think that Gage is gonna win, put your hands in the air. If you think that Kevin's gonna win, put your hands in the air. If you think the Fletcher's gonna win, put your hands in the air. If you think the Mason's gonna win, put your hands in the air. Your favorites are Mason and Fletcher. Let's see what happens. Come on, Gage. All right. The person who gets on here the fastest this run is the ultimate winner, and they're getting candy. Remind me again. When you get on the chair and you're the first person on, you have to move. It has to be a good one. It has to be a good move. He's against 2 high schoolers. All right, good luck. Remember what you gotta do. You gotta be the first person on. You gotta woo. Go Fletcher! You gotta move. sister wins. You're just a high schooler. Good job. Okay, if you got a candy, remind me at the end and I'll go take you to get one in a little bit. Good job, everyone. Only if you won. Everyone's a winner. That was entertaining. Yes. I'm going to pray. So close your eyes. Close your arms. Okay, thank you. Dear Lord, thank you for everything you've given us. And thank you for this wonderful day. I pray that we will all get something good out of this lesson and we'll be able to use it in our daily lives. Amen. Thank you all.
Amen. Hey, I know some of you guys are hot. I went ahead and turned the air down just a little bit. We're going to start a new series, and this series is one that I think a lot of people will get something out of, because I think that most of us, at some point or another in our lives, will meet haters. Some of y'all in this room are haters.
Kevin.
Hey, can you move the map for me? There's a buzz real bad up here. Okay, I'm going to tell you a quick story about a time that I met probably like the greatest haters that I've ever met. Okay, now when I was in the 6th grade, I had just moved all the way across the country from Florida to Indiana. Now, if you know anything about Florida schools, which I don't expect that you do unless you're from there, is they're not the greatest school systems out there. They're just kind of not great. Okay. There's a reason Florida gets the reputation it has, okay? But when I moved to Indiana, my sister and I were both behind for half of a school year. And so midway through the school year, my parents and the administration decided, you know what? I just think it would be best for them if they moved back a grade. So midway through my 6th grade year, I moved back to 5th grade. Now, how many of you guys are in 6th grade right now or just left 6th grade? Yeah, not too long ago. Okay. 6th grade is a tough year. Would you guys agree with that? No, hold on. 6th grade's a tough year because of, let's just say, turds. Let's just say students make 6th grade a tough year, not because 6th grade's tough. Okay? And if you're saying no, you're probably the kid that made it. Okay? When I moved back to 5th grade, I suddenly was not popular. Now I want you to imagine yourself, all of your friends, and now you're back a grade. Would you feel a little left out? Would you feel a little weird, oh no? Suddenly all the little 5th graders that you made fun of during recess and stuff like that are now your classmates. And all your friends who used to make fun of the 5th graders are now making fun of you. Except it's worse because you moved back in the middle of the year. You don't even belong in 5th grade, right? Now I will say this, hold on, listen. It made school so much easier for me. It was the best decision possible, but it was really tough. And we lived in an area that was just not great. It was on the west side of Indianapolis, and it was just sort of it was just kind of the ghetto, to be honest. It was a real rough area. And I would have to walk home from school every single day. And I'll tell you, there was one day that I would pick my sister, who's two years younger than me. She had moved from 3rd grade to 2nd grade, right? No, 4th grade to 3rd grade. We were walking home one day, and these kids, these big old 6th graders, came walking up on us, right? And there were 3 or 4 of them. I don't even remember now. They were all just giants, okay? They were you think I'm short now? I was really short in 6th grade, right? And they were giants. And they came up and they were picking on us, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're so stupid. You had to move back to 5th grade. And I was like, you guys are so funny. And I was scared the whole time. I was like, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me, right? Because I know you think I'm a fighter. I'm not. I'm a lover. I'm a total lover. I don't fight with anything, okay? Except weight, maybe Oreos at night, but for the most part, not humans, okay? I don't fight, right? And so these kids come up on me, and they're pushing us around a little bit. I'm like, oh, guys, you're so funny. You're so cool. I just love you guys. Please don't hurt me. You're the best thing ever. Okay, take whatever you want. Here's my lunch money tomorrow, right? And I'm like that. But I'm like, okay, make the peace, get on with it, let them go, let them get their thing, whatever. That's when my sister speaks up, right? My sister looks at it, and she goes, if you guys don't stop, my brother's going to beat you up. Okay, how many of you have younger siblings? How many of you at that very moment, wished you never had younger siblings? Yeah. At that moment, I was like, no, Megan, be quiet. I was like, what's wrong with you? And I will tell you, at that moment, I had to prove her right? I had to just give my stuff on, right? Except that I didn't. Instead, they were like, oh, really? And they tested that hypothesis, and I fell to the ground in the fetal position while they started beating me up. Luckily, there was like this 90-year-old woman who came running out. She was like, you guys, stop it. Leave him alone. He's a poor, chubby kid. Leave him alone. And then she like got her minivan and like followed us all the way home, like going like 5 miles an hour behind us. And we're just like, this is the most awkward thing I've ever done in my whole life, right? I just got beat up, and an 80-year-old woman came and kicked their butts, and I couldn't even do it. I hate my sister, and I'm being followed by a stranger in a minivan in the ghetto. Let's just say it was not the greatest like time of my life, okay? But there are gonna be times in your life where things just go terrible. Like you're gonna think things are going great, and then next thing you know, you're gonna get a phone call that, hey, you're going back a grade, right? Maybe not that situation, but in your own situation. And everything's gonna get thrown at you. And suddenly the people who are around you are gonna suddenly start picking on you, start messing with you. If you ask me, I wouldn't go back to middle school for nothing. Why? Because this is the most awkward time of my life. You got a whole bunch of little kids who are trying to act grown up that aren't grown up, and their bodies can't figure out what they're doing. It just makes it really awkward. Some of you all know exactly what I'm talking about. Right? There's been times in your life where you meet haters, these people who absolutely will just mess with you for no reason. And the worst is when it comes from your own group. Right? I mean, there's nothing like that. I mean, it's one thing to kind of deal with the bully. It's another thing when your friends become the bully. Tonight we're going to talk about a certain story. And I want to give you a little bit of encouragement, first of all. If you've got a Bible, there's plenty on the tables. Please feel free. You can take notes, grab the Bibles. We're going to be in the book of Numbers. The book of Numbers. It's just right in the beginning of the Old Testament. Okay? You don't have to go too far in. Book of Numbers. And I'm going to give you encouragement just real quick while you're turning there. We're going to be in Numbers chapter 13. If you experience people hating on you, you're in good company. Everybody say, what? Because there was another guy in the Bible that got hated on quite a bit. You know what his name was? It was Jesus. Good job. In fact, Jesus says it this way in John chapter 15. He says, if the world hates you, know that it's hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love you as its own, but because you're not of the world, I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they kept my word, they will also keep yours. So not only do you have to deal with being a middle schooler and soon to be one day high schooler and having to deal with people hating on you, they're going to hate on you simply because you claim to be a Christian. It's in Scripture. It says that. So we're going to learn quickly how we can make sure that no matter what happens, even though we're going to experience those haters in our life, how we can get through it the best we can. Numbers chapter 13. Numbers chapter 13 is where we're going to be. And we're going to go down this story pretty quickly. We're going to break off into our groups and end. But I want you just to pay attention because I've got 2 points. Everybody say 2 points. Oh, that was terrible. Everybody say 2 points. How many points? Good job. I have 2 points. And if you take these points and you apply them to your life, no matter what, depending on whether you're a middle schooler, high schooler, the future as an adult, because guess what? You still meet haters as an adult. Some of them are still middle schoolers. Sometimes I experience hate from middle schoolers. How terrible is that? I still experience it. I walk into the schools and I'm like, what's up, Chubby? I'm like, you're so funny. I hate you so much. I hate you. Numbers chapter 13. We're going to start in verse 1. It says, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, send men to spy out the land of Canaan. Everybody say Canaan. Which I am giving to the people of Israel. Say Israel. From each tribe of their fathers you shall send a man, everyone a chief among them. So what's happening here? Somebody tell me what's happening. What do you think is happening? You can just restate what's happening. Who spoke to who? The Lord spoke to Moses and said, where are they going? Canaan. And who's going to take over Canaan? The Israelites. Good job, you guys are learning. So Moses gathers up the people, right? We're going to skip down to verse 17. This is what it says. Moses gave the men these instructions as he sent them out to explore the land. So he gets together some people and he says, go north through the Negev, say Negev, into the hill country. See what the land is like. Find out whether the people living there are strong or weak, few or many. See what kind of land they live in. Is it good or is it bad? Do their towns have walls or are they unprotected, like open camps? Is their soil fertile or is it poor? Are there many trees? Do your best to bring back samples of the crops that you see, because it happened to be season of the harvest for the first ripe fruits. Okay, somebody tell me what's happening right here. Go ahead.
You mispronounced grades.
It's okay. Yes. Yeah. Ninja. It's okay. It's okay. So he's sending out some people. And what are they supposed to come back with? Fruits. And so basically God says, hey, Moses. That's how I imagine God speaks. Hey, Moses. I'm going to give you a land. It's called Canaan. Okay? I want you to go take that land, right? So Moses says, okay, I'm going to take one guy from each of the tribes, so there's going to be 12 of you, and 12 of you are going to go across this land. You're going to go up north. You're going to go around to this city that we're going to overtake, and I want you to come back with a report. Like, hey, what's the deal? What's this land like? We've never been there. Is it going to be nice? Is it awesome? Do they have golf carts? Can we ride golf carts? Like, is it fun? Like, are the people cool? Like, are they not cool? Are they strong? How's the food? You got good pizza? I hope they got good pizza. That's the big deal. Good pizza. That's like number one, okay? Good pizza, coffee. Those are the two things in life, right? So he says, go out and do this, right? And so they do. Moses gave the men these instructions, right? And we're going to go to verse 27. They come back after a certain amount of time. Verse number 27. It says, this was their report to Moses. So they come back and they're like, Moses, hey, here we go. So took a report. Here's the deal, okay, here's the deal. He says, we entered the land you sent us to explore. Well, that's good, because it would have been really bad if they entered the land and he didn't send them to explore. He's like, yeah, I know you told us to go to Canaan, but we went to Egypt. Like, that was way worse. Like, we shouldn't go there anymore, right? He says, we entered the land that you told us to explore. And it is indeed a bountiful country. Everybody say bountiful country. A land flowing with milk and honey. That sounds sticky. That sounds sticky. It's a bountiful country, land flowing with milk and honey. Okay, I don't know why it sounded, that was a country song. And here's the kind of fruit they produce, right? So what's the report? What do they say? They're like, hey, check it out, Moses. God, you know that land you sent us to? Yeah, it's awesome. It is way better than the wilderness that we've been living in. Like wilderness? It's not a wilderness. There's no trees. It's just dirt. Like, if you look over here, there's like dirt. And if you look over there, it's just like, oh, there's more dirt right here. And nope, still dirt over there. Okay, so we're gonna live here for 40 years, right? So yeah, over there, awesome. Like, not just dirt, actually trees. And guess what? Fruit and milk and honey. I don't know why they say that, because it's not milk and honey everywhere, but it just means it has awesome stuff there. And check it out, the fruit is delicious. It's way better than dirt, right? Except there's one word that follows right after what I just said. What's that word? Oh, what's your language? I'm going to do a series called Big Butts of the Bible. Okay? Because this is a big one. What does that imply? That there's something more to this statement. It's like, hey, Moses, you know God, you know the one who talks to you from heaven? Like the one who's all powerful and feeds us in the wilderness, like from the sky? The one who said, go take it, it's yours? Yeah, so we went and looked, and it looks awesome, but what do you think whatever's going to follow is going to be them trusting God or not trusting God? Very good. Some of you are up in the air. That's okay. Here it is. Big butts of the Bible. But the people living there are like me. Powerful. And their towns are large and they're fortified. We even saw what? Anybody else have a different translation they can say? Huh? Giants. Anakin. Giants. We even saw giants there. The descendants of Anak. In other words, I walked over like, whoa, this place is like awesome. And they're like, oh, he is really tall. Oh, and this is a really tough wall. Yeah, we have nothing to break this down. You know, the dirt isn't looking too bad. These guys are huge. It was like me with the sixth graders, like, you guys are so funny. all the while, like, God's like, oh, you better stop or my brother's going to beat you up. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Fetal position, right? Because that's exactly what happened. They came back and like, you know what? Let's just lay here in the desert where it's just dirt. Even though God, the one who talks to you from the sky and feeds us from the sky, just told us to take it, we're like, that guy's, I don't know if God saw that guy. He's huge. I don't know if God saw that building. It's huge. So I don't think we can do this. So where are we going with this? Well, here's the thing. How would you describe how they're feeling, the spies?
Probably not very good.
Okay, not very good. What's causing them to not feel good? What's that one emotion they're feeling at that moment? Fear. Now, you will face haters one day. And those haters will cause you to fear. You may fear them. You may fear how you act. You may fear the things that you have to go through. You may fear exactly what's going to happen. You may fear a lot of things, but the truth is that when you allow fear into your life, it can cloud up your thinking. Point number 1 of 2. Fear can cloud up what faith can clear up. Okay, write that down. Fear can cloud up what faith can clear up. What do you think that means? Who told the Israelites that they should go into the land? Moses. But who told Moses? God, right? So did they have any reason to fear? Right, so they should have just walked right in. Started going, like, okay, let's go, God, right? But instead they got afraid. When they got afraid, what suddenly happened? Exactly. Their thinking got cloudy. They were like, that's a really tall guy right there. I don't think we should do this, Moses. I think you should ask God if we should do something else, right? Because he is huge. But here's the thing. If we go to the next chapter, starting in verse 6, it says, 2 of the men who had explored the land, so they were one of the 12, 2 of them, Joshua, say Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, say Caleb, son of Jephunneh, I like it, tore their clothing. Well, that's strange. So they come back and they're like, hey, Moses, this place is awesome, but they're really strong. And here's like Joshua and Caleb back here like, no! Like, tearing their clothing. It's very strange and awkward, right? And he says, they said to all the people of Israel, don't just say it to the 12, don't just say it to Moses, but they're like, oh, people of Israel, listen up, listen, okay, listen. It says this, the land we traveled through and explored is a wonderful land. It's amazing. It's like Disney World. It's incredible. And they explore, it's a wonderful land. And verse 8, and if the Lord is pleased with us, he'll bring us safely into that land and give it to us. It's a rich land flowing with milk and honey. Say milk and honey. Do not rebel against the Lord. Don't be afraid of the people of this land. They're only helpless prey to us. They have no protection, but the Lord is with us. Don't be afraid of them. So what's Joshua and Caleb saying? Sum it up for me. Huh? Have faith. Why? Why do we get to have faith? Because God is much bigger than those guys. Right? And God told us we can have it. He promised it to us, so we get to have it. So you should just have faith. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Why are you even afraid? There's an invisible voice that's speaking to us and feeding us food in the dirt land. And he's saying, go take the non-dirt land. We shouldn't be afraid of these guys. We can totally do this, right? Don't be afraid. But what's the next word that happens to occur in this statement? Verse 10. Big butts of the Bible. But the whole, everybody say the whole community began to talk about, stoning Joshua and Caleb. Whoa, that escalated quickly. Do you see what's happening here, right? God says, hey, go take this land. Moses sends 12 people. They come back like, this place is awesome, but we can't take it. Those guys are way too strong, way too big, way too advanced for us. Joshua and Caleb are like, hello, God is way bigger. He created those people, so he can totally take care of them. And they're like, kill them! You see how this is like, what? How did this get, what is happening? You see, what's happening is Joshua and Caleb aren't allowing their fear to cloud up what their faith is clearing up. They had a clear mission. They were told exactly what to do. Some of us in here would love that. Some of us would love God to come down and be like, hey, hey, Logan, today, this is exactly what I want you to do. I'm only picking on him because he's taking feverish notes, and I love it. He's like, Logan, today I want you to go eat peanut butter and jelly in the what's that called, cafeteria, right? And then I want you to go make sure you do your homework extra soon before you even get out of school, preferably. And then when you go home, take a nap. And you're like, cool. Okay, yeah, I'll do that, right? I mean, that's pretty clear. It's not like God was like, hey, you should go into a land, but you're gonna have to guess which land it is, right? He's like, no, go here. It was really clear. But what clouded up their thinking? Fear. Here's the second point. In the midst of the haters, their eyes were on God and not the giants. In the midst of the haters, their eyes were on God and not the giants. Here's the thing. This is where we sum it up right here. Many of y'all, in the rest of your life, I apologize for saying this, but you're going to face haters. Some of those haters will come from your own friend groups, the ones you least expect. Unfortunately, people are just mean. You'll do something that they think is weird, and they will point it out or make fun of you or berate you or whatever it may be. You'll feel like an outcast. Some of them may even come from your own homes. But the truth is that God gives us very clear instructions to go, to reflect his image into this world, and to expect that hate. Remember what I said in John from Jesus' own words? If they hate you, know that they hated me first. So in those moments, instead of backing down from fear, you stand up for what will reflect God's image into this dark world. You stand up, even if it's in your own community, and say, no, I'm going to go God's way. I'm going to go God's way. I have nothing to fear. You don't scare me. You don't make me afraid, because as long as I follow God's way, guess what? I'm in the land of milk and honey. Y'all stay out here in the dirt, like this is horrible, but I'm going there. And guess who gets to go in there? Joshua and Caleb. Guess who doesn't get to go in there? Everyone else. Everyone else. So because they allowed their fear to cloud up what faith cleared up for Joshua and Caleb, they didn't get to enter that land. And guess who walked right in and just conquered that thing like it was nothing? They didn't even raise a flag or raise a weapon. All they did was walk. They walked around the city, and the walls fell. Yeah, keep reading on tonight, and you'll get it. Yeah, Jericho. By the way, been there. It's super awesome. It's still there today. You can go see it. The wall that fell in is still there. We'll get into that one day. Come talk to me afterwards. I'd love to show you my picture. I got pictures. I got all kinds of stuff. It's amazing. Okay? Here's the thing. What was point number 1? Don't let fear clouds up what faith can clear up. And what's the second one? No, their eyes were on God and not giants. So in the midst of haters, keep your eyes on God and not the giants, okay? I'm going to pray, and we're going to split up into our groups. Girls are going to go into the one room, guys in the other room. But I hope that you guys will find encouragement here and take a little bit more away from what Joshua and Caleb will show us here. And then keep reading this story. It gets crazy. It's a really great story. So finish it off when you get home tonight. Let's pray. Father, thank you for this night. God, thank you for the encouragement that you give us in your word. Father, I pray that we are raising up a generation of Joshua and Caleb's, and not a generation of people who are just afraid of what's going on around them. God, if we aren't hated, then maybe we're not standing up for you well enough. Because you said, if we follow you, we will be persecuted. We will be hated. So God, I pray that we're in good company with you. And we don't let the giants make us afraid, but we can constantly trust in your word and in your direction for our life. And that we will ultimately reflect you into this dark, desperate wilderness. We love you and we praise you in your name. Amen. Y'all follow the leaders. So it's a very weird statement, but this is his word to us, right? So this is how he speaks to us. And as you spend time with him in Scripture, his will becomes clear in your heart. So he speaks to you in here, and he may not say like, "Don't wear a skirt" or whatever it may be. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just a conviction that they hold. But if you have questions about like, should you wear skirts, go to his word first. Go and look and search in his word and see what it says. Google it, whatever it may be. Figure out where they come from, and then just ask God to clarify that. Because Jesus himself says that if you seek, you will find it. He will show it to you. And so that's my encouragement to you. I'm just going to show it real quick. Did that make sense? It's really so hard to tell, right? Because you have to be here. But this whole area up here, this is all Jericho. Okay. One tradition too, in the Bible, if you look up where it says Jericho is, it gives very specific instructions. That's where it is. And down here are the fallen in walls like that. So stuff has been built up on top of it. It goes up with this description. Yes, this is the oldest. Yeah. And so things get built up on top of it. But basically, what they did is they found the walls that had fallen in. They had found stuff that had Jericho's inscriptions on it, and they found pots with food still in it, like within the walls in the house. Which basically means in those days, the only way to take over a city was to close off the gates and to starve them out. So if they still had food in here, it was because it all went down quickly, and that's exactly what happened. And so yeah, it's a really cool area. It looks like a big mound of dirt, but these are all walls that have fallen down here. So pretty cool. I'll show you more sometime. This was just some of the pictures that I have. So oldest city on earth, Jericho. Believe it or not. Yeah. Isn't it? Very crazy.
So like God loves where they wear a skirt.
Yes. The skirt thing is like, okay, so you know how like CO and Central had like a dress code for a while, but yet Fort Hitches maybe doesn't have a dress code like that. The skirt thing with different religions, different denominations are more like that. It's like there are rules and stuff that they've kind of developed within their own community and their own denomination that says, this is how we're attempting to be more godly or more set apart from the world. It's like, have you ever seen like a Mormon or a Jehovah's Witness, and they always have like a white shirt, black tie? Okay, well, if you ever see them, you'll know it's them because that's what they always wear. Same with, like Pentecostals and stuff like that. They wear that to be set apart from the world, to not look like the world. It doesn't mean it's biblical, not biblical. There's nothing really wrong with it at all. It's just something that they've chosen to do to be set apart. That makes sense. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all turn the lights off in there? Yeah. Is that camera united tied in?
It's not. They knocked it off, and they knocked it off at some point. It was right before I went up to speak. Let me go plug it in. It's just, there's not specific questions. It's just like, what did you guys get out of this? Like, what's something that